Athena is one of the most recognizable figures in Greek mythology, a goddess of wisdom who wears armor, a protector of cities who carries a spear, and a patron of crafts whose sacred symbol is the olive tree. Unlike gods who represent only one force of nature or one human passion, Athena brings together ideas that might seem opposite at first. She is intelligent but not passive, warlike but not reckless, artistic but also political. To the ancient Greeks, this combination made sense. Wisdom was not just abstract thinking, it was the ability to plan, build, defend, judge, and guide a community. Athena was the divine image of disciplined power, strength controlled by strategy, and creativity turned towards civilization. Athena, sometimes called Athene and often given the title Pallas, was associated above all with wisdom, warfare, and handicraft. Later, the Romans identified her with Minerva, their own goddess of wisdom and skill. But Athena's Greek identity remained deeply tied to the world of the city-state, or polis. She was not only a mythic character living on Mount Olympus, she was also a civic protector. Many Greek cities honored her, but none more famously than Athens. In fact, her name and the city's name are so closely connected that ancient tradition treated the two as inseparable. Athena was imagined as the guardian who watched over the walls, institutions, arts, and identity of the community. Athena's symbols revealed the range of her power. The owl represented alert intelligence, the ability to see clearly where others could not. The olive tree symbolized peace, prosperity, agriculture, and long-term civic life. Snakes connected her to older protective and earth-related traditions, especially around the household and the city. The Gorgonian, the frightening head of the Gorgon, appeared on her shield or armor as a protective emblem meant to repel danger. In art, Athena is usually shown wearing a helmet and carrying a spear, but she is not portrayed as a chaotic bringer of violence. Her image suggests preparedness, vigilance, and order. She is armed because wisdom must sometimes defend what it builds. Athena's origins may reach back before the familiar myths of classical Greece. Scholars often connect her with an earlier Aegean palace goddess, a figure linked to fortified centers and elite power. Over time, she became closely associated with the Acropolis, the high fortified area at the center of many Greek cities. In Athens, this connection was especially powerful. Athena was worshipped under titles such as Polias and Poliouchos, both related to the word polis, meaning city-state. These titles identify her as the goddess of the city itself. Her temples were often placed in central, elevated, defensive spaces, making her worship part of the city's architecture and political imagination. The most famous building dedicated to Athena is the Parthenon on the Athenian Acropolis. Built in the 5th century BCE, it honored Athena Parthenos, meaning Athena the Virgin. The Parthenon was more than a temple, it was a statement of Athenian identity, wealth, religious devotion, and cultural ambition. Inside once stood a monumental statue of Athena, presenting her as the divine embodiment of the city's greatness. Around the Acropolis, other temples and monuments also honored her. For Athenians, Athena was not distant mythology. She was woven into festivals, public spaces, civic pride, and the very skyline. To look up at the Acropolis was to see the city under her protection. Athena's role as patron of crafts was especially important. Under the title Ergane, meaning something like the worker or craftswoman, she watched over skilled labor, especially weaving. In ancient society, weaving was not a minor domestic activity. Textiles were valuable goods, markers of status, offerings to the gods, and essential products of household and civic life. Athena's link to weaving shows that Greek wisdom included technical skill and disciplined making. Craft required planning, patience, pattern, and intelligence. The same goddess who guided military strategy could also guide the loom. This made Athena a symbol of organized human skill, from the battlefield to the workshop. Athena was also a warrior goddess, but her warfare was different from the brutal rage often associated with Ares. Ares represented the bloodlust and chaos of battle, Athena represented strategy, courage, and command. As Athena Primachos, she was believed to stand in front, leading soldiers into battle. This did not mean she celebrated violence for its own sake. Rather, she embodied the idea that war, when unavoidable, should be fought with discipline, intelligence, and a clear purpose. Her armor signaled readiness, not savagery. In a world of rival city-states, this kind of divine protector mattered deeply. Athena offered not only victory, but the wisdom to pursue it effectively. One of Athena's most striking myths is her birth. In Hesiod's Theogony, Zeus swallowed Metis, whose name is associated with cunning intelligence, while she was pregnant with Athena. Later, Athena emerged fully grown from Zeus's forehead. The image is dramatic, a goddess of wisdom and war born directly from the head of the king of the gods. Mythologically, this story connects Athena to intellect, authority, and divine strategy. It also reflects Greek ideas about power-absorbing and controlling wisdom. Athena is the child of Zeus, but she also carries the intelligence of Metis. Her birth makes her both a force of thought and a force of command. Athena's connection to Athens is explained in one of the city's founding myths. Athena and Poseidon competed to become the patron deity of the city. Poseidon offered a powerful gift, often described as a spring or a sign of naval strength. Athena offered the first olive tree. The people chose Athena's gift because the olive promised food, oil, wood, trade, light, and lasting prosperity. The myth is not just a story about two gods competing. It expresses a civic ideal. Athens defined itself not only through military or maritime power, but through cultivation, stability, and useful intelligence. Athena won because her gift created a future. Athena's myths also tie her to the heroic identity of Athens. In one archaic Attic story, Hephaestus tried and failed to assault Athena. From the aftermath, Gaia gave birth to Erichthonius, an important early Athenian hero, whom Athena then raised. The myth is strange and uncomfortable, as many ancient myths are, but its civic purpose is clear. It connects Athens to the earth, to divine guardianship, and to Athena's protection. Athena remains the virgin goddess, yet she becomes a foster mother to a founding figure of the city. Through this story, Athens imagined itself as earthborn, ancient, and personally nurtured by its patron goddess. Beyond Athens, Athena appears again and again as a helper of heroes. She aided Perseus in the defeat of Medusa, supported Heracles in his labors, helped Bellerophon, and assisted Jason and the Argonauts. Her support usually comes in the form of tools, advice, courage, or clever planning. She does not simply solve every problem by force. Instead, she equips mortals to act wisely. This pattern is especially clear in Homer's Odyssey, where Athena serves as the guiding deity of Odysseus. She favors him because he is intelligent, adaptable, and strategic. In Odysseus, Athena sees a mortal version of her own values, endurance guided by cunning thought. Athena also plays a major role in the Trojan War tradition. Along with Hera and Aphrodite, she was one of the three goddesses whose rivalry helped set the war in motion through the famous judgment of Paris. In the Iliad, she actively supports the Achaeans, intervening in battle and encouraging heroes. Yet her role is not only martial. She represents judgment, alliance, and divine preference shaped by intelligence and honor. Later myths and retellings expand her darker and more complex sides, including stories involving Arachne, Medusa, and Charon. These versions show Athena as a powerful guardian of sacred boundaries, craft, and reputation, but also as a deity whose justice could be severe. In later Roman literature, especially in Ovid, Athena's myths took on new forms. Ovid tells how Athena competed with the mortal weaver Arachne, then transformed her into the first spider. He also tells versions in which Athena transforms Medusa into the Gorgon after Poseidon rapes her in Athena's temple, and changes Charon into a crow to save her from Poseidon. These stories are not simple moral lessons. They reflect ancient anxieties about skill, violation, punishment, protection, and divine authority. They also remind us that myths changed depending on who told them. Athena could be wise protector, harsh enforcer, patron of art, and terrifying goddess all at once. Athena's influence did not end with ancient Greece. Since the Renaissance, she has become an international symbol of wisdom, the arts, classical learning, freedom, and democracy. Artists, writers, universities, governments, and allegorical images have used her helmet, spear, owl, and calm expression to represent reasoned civilization. Her lasting power comes from the balance she embodies. Athena is not wisdom locked away in a library, and she is not violence without thought. She is intelligence in action, the mind that designs, the hand that crafts, the city that organizes, and the courage that defends. That is why, thousands of years later, Athena still feels like a symbol of civilization itself. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.